Hi everyone, my name is Sergei and today we're on WGG podcast with Kevin Cavaco, Chief Marketing Officer of Select Group, one of the most successful developers in the UAE. I want to make strategies. I want to manage $1 million budget.
They want to take it easy, learn the basics. A lot of these young talent want to run before they can walk. It works if you know what you're doing, if you understand it. The brokerage market in UAE is so aggressive.
Hi Kevin, nice to meet you.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
How
good.
are you?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start from your personality. Let's discuss how your story starts, and you can tell us a few words about yourself. It's interesting for me when your marketing career gets started. So when you switched to like different jobs, we all start with being couriers and something like this, and finally we choose the way. And when did it happen? And maybe you remember how did you choose this?
I totally remember. So I didn't choose it. I sort of went into it naturally. I was in working in a ground handling agency in Portugal, and they were looking to sort of never did any marketing because it was very much a B2B business. But then started looking into doing a little bit of the sales and marketing commercial aspect. I felt like I had sort of a natural.
Which year was it, by the way?
If I tell you that year, I'll give you my age away.
You look very nice,
no,
so that's not a problem.
2004 or 5 maybe.
When
something
the era
like
of digital was born, like 5 or 6 years ago.
Something like that. It was around that time. So the digital was still quite young. And there weren't the same tools available.
B2B companies, they didn't understand at all, should they, use digital marketing for their promotion or not.
I think they didn't understand it, but once they saw the benefit, once they saw it in action, they were like, even the basic stuff back then, once they saw it in action, they could really understand the benefits of it. But I sort of moved into that sort of naturally. I had interest in it, and my employer at the time saw that I was quite capable of doing it. So did a little bit, not much. And to be honest, then I moved into a hotel as a marketing executive. I started from the bottom, I guess like most people.
So hospitality was the first industry you opened for you as a marketer?
As a marketing role, pure marketing role, yes. And as a marketing executive.
So that's really interesting. Can you tell us more about the hospitality industry and its, differences in marketing stuff and something like this?
I think, if I look back, the hospitality industry, I feel from a marketing perspective is still limited in terms of growth, what you can achieve from a marketing perspective. But it is booking.com at everything. No, I'm talking hotels specifically. So there's only certain career path available. But I have to admit, from a industry perspective, it's probably one of the best schoolings to learn, to understand, to build the foundations of marketing. Hospitality marketing is not, from a marketing perspective, is not very commercially driven. It's primarily brand and so forth. There are commercial aspect to it, yes, but you're more exposed to the branding element of marketing. And regardless, I think it's, hospitality is an amazing industry to build those foundations. I'm not saying that everyone should go into hospitality.
Was it some small hotel or there was a big net worth?
It was quite a large hotel. It was actually a resort of 4 different properties. So I was very fortunate enough to be exposed to different properties, different revenue avenues such as food and beverage or leisure and sport, as well as rooms.
That provided nice experience and
different. Because the approach is very different.
A lot of the industries in one industry. So.
Something like that, because your targeting is very different, your messaging is very different, the way you position things is very different. And I managed to, so I was lucky enough to be in an international group. So I got exposed to other hotels both in the country as well as in the European Union. And I got to network a lot with my colleagues in other countries and learn from them.
Yeah.
So I think
maybe
it was
had
quite,
some interesting experience from different countries, different
for sure,
ways how to promote and everything.
what they're doing, what works in their sort of in their country, what may be the corporate element who looks at the global level, what they're doing to support it, and understanding how all those elements have to work together.
Oh, okay. So we're making our podcast for young marketers. So let's discuss like what you started from, like which tasks you made, because we hire a lot of students, we hire a lot of people, and we hear from them, I want to make strategies, I want to manage $1 million budgets.
They want to run before they can walk.
Yeah. So that's why I wanna share with them, like, if you're a successful person, you're a CMO now, but you started, I guess, from some very simple tasks.
Basic stuff. I started from the basics, from the ground. My advice to them is just take it easy. You have time. Take it easy. Learn the basics. I think when I come across young talent and when I'm recruiting and so forth, a lot of these young talent want to run before they can walk.
Yeah.
And I understand they've probably gone to university. They've probably studied several years, a marketing course and so forth. But you probably know as well as I do, out in the real world, it works a little bit differently. So my advice to them is, take it easy, learn, take it all in.
Like, can you share some examples? Like, you learned some stuff and it couldn't take like 1 week, 2 weeks. It should take half a year.
Learn your craft. Learn your craft. Learn how to content write. Study content writing, for example. Content development. Study all digital channels. How do they talk to each other? How do they work together? Learn your craft a little bit more before. It's very hard to create a strategy if you don't know how everything works and talks to each other. We focus a lot on this digital, which is, but there's much more to marketing than digital. Even to digital, there's much more. There's, your PR, your comms, your internal, your external marketing. How do they all talk to each other, and what is the end goal? So my advice is understanding all the elements, learn them a little bit, and just take it slowly. Because, for example, for me, I only reached a manager level by the age of 30 or 32. So you have plenty of time.
I agree.
You have plenty of time. And those foundations will help you throughout your career, whether you learn them in hospitality or somewhere else. Even if you decide to shift industry, those foundations will always play a role.
Yeah, let's pass through some basic level in marketing, like starting from target audience.
Correct.
Yeah. So maybe you can share some experience how we should approach to science, maybe to understanding your audience. Like, do you know some practices, not digital? I mean, from the first one, like from basic level, like
I think I think with anything, even today. When we launch a new development, we need to understand that development. We need to understand the positioning of that development, the price point of that development, before we even talk about target audience. And I think, one of the things is understanding your product, understanding how you want to position the product. And I think that will define your direction of your target audience. We do it today, even today, before we even launch a development, we brand that development, we try to position it internally, understand who this development is for. Based on that then obviously we look at historical data, which does help. But interestingly enough, over the last couple of years, we've seen target audience shift a lot. So historical data is good as a base, but understanding your product and then using that as a base for your targeting.
Understanding your product, I guess it's one of the key factors of success.
So I had an agency for 1 year, and I worked with small to medium businesses. I did B2B marketing, primarily lead generation for them. And I was amazed on how many businesses and how many business owners are unable to articulate what they do in one sentence. I've never seen it. I've worked with business owners, great business owners, very smart people, very intelligent, but I needed 20 minutes to explain to me what they do.
That's a big problem. They always run, we have a lot of clients that they come to us and let's make an Instagram page first. I'm asking them, do you understand your business? Do you understand your audience? Maybe you don't need Instagram page at all.
Correct.
Let's start with this level, and then discuss the instruments we should start.
This is actually something I learned in hospitality. So in my time in hospitality, we did a lot of brand positioning exercise and brand positioning for developments and also for food and beverage venues. And that exercise sort of taught me and the team the value of brand positioning and product positioning and what that, and being able to articulate your value proposition very easily to a target audience.
Yeah.
So I'm very surprised that, hence going back to understanding your product.
Yeah. That's very important. So let's move. So you had a start of your career in Portugal in hospitality.
Correct.
Why did you decide to come to UAE? Maybe there were some thoughts, maybe there were some ideas from your side. And did you move to hospitality as well, or you switched to different industry? Yeah.
So, my decision at the time to move to the UAE is I felt I needed to be a little bit out of my comfort zone. I was very comfortable in Portugal where I was working. And UAE obviously was booming at the time. This was 2015, 16. And there was a lot of opportunity out here. So I decided that, I need to get out of my comfort zone if I want to continue my learning career. I did move back into hospitality, or continued in hospitality.
Yeah.
Both, with Intercontinental hotels here in Festival City. I had the opportunity to actually be promoted to a commercial role, which is, I think, was the first time a marketing person took on sales as well, with the opening of Hotel Indigo Dubai Downtown in Business Bay. So I did have a few years in hospitality. I did take a year off, let's say a year off for personal reasons with my wife. And during that year, we both started a business, taking my marketing knowledge. We started a B2B marketing agency.
Wow.
Which was quite interesting. A lot of learnings. We did 1 year. I think we, worked with over 40 clients in that 1 year, which was quite good.
That's really nice.
Yeah, the first year you make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But then after that, we decided to go back into our corporate roles. Hence now I'm in, I also wanted to try a different industry, putting those foundations that I was talking about that are very important to learn, to test, to see whether, how can that be implemented in other industries.
In this market, especially, sorry for interrupt, especially for this market, these basics are, makes huge importance.
What really sort of gets to me is these young guys, they come out of university full of energy, which is amazing, and full of motivation. But again, they want to run before they can walk. They, like you said, they want to create strategies. They want to do this. They want to, as opposed to sort of stepping back and learning and going, I don't know what your career path is exactly, but I went from the bottom and worked my way up. So I was fortunate enough to learn all that. My experience shows me that can be translated between industries, which I've done twice in my career. And I think so. I've been successful. I've been there for a few years now, so I guess I've been successful.
You should really understand that for young people taking the role of CMO, it's a very big success. So underestimating our level, that's the common way from me and you, because I think that we have now 140 actual clients here in Dubai within 3 years, and I think, oh God, we're awful. We need to improve this. We need to improve this. So that's the way of every, maybe talented person to think about yourself as
you're always looking to improve, and you being a business owner, you're always looking at the opportunities as opposed to sometimes forgetting the positives, not in a bad way, but because you want to move the needle forward, right?
I guess this is the second factor. You need to criticize yourself, to always remember your problems and trying to improve them.
I think there's pros and cons to that, though. I guess in my career, I've maybe criticized a bit too much, which has sort of had a negative impact. So it needs to be a balance. Constructive criticism, let's put it that way.
Agree. So, you moved here to hospitality sector as well. And did you feel changes between markets? Because as for me, European market is totally different. Like they're totally different. Arabic world and European world, we felt that. And there was a quite maybe 1 or 2 years of suffering to change your like mental attitudes to different ways how to lead a business. Did you feel the same? Maybe you can share some.
I felt a little. It was actually quite surprising. I don't want this to come across as negative, but I felt that the European market was a couple of years ahead of the Middle Eastern market when I first arrived, which quite shocked me because my impression of the Middle Eastern market was they were leading the way at the time.
Yeah.
Beautiful hotels at the time, top talent, and so on. But when I first arrived here, I felt that us in Europe were, from a mindset perspective, quite advanced.
Yeah.
But what I did notice over the time that I was here in the hospitality industry, that they caught up quite quickly. They caught up quite quickly. But yeah, I did come across that. But maybe, even basic stuff, so the smaller things, even the tools they used were quite basic versus Europeans or the European market at the time, strategically thinking as well.
Can you dive into more details? Maybe it's analytics, the lack of analytics, the lack of professional staff. So you moved here and you understood.
Look, I think it's a combination of everything. And I think one of the things that's lacking from a marketing perspective is we marketeers need to be a little bit more commercially focused.
Yeah.
I think a lot of, not only for us to be successful, but also to change the impression we have on of who we are and what we do. And I felt that at the time when I came over, that commercial element wasn't present. A lot of the tools that were being used were still quite old tools, if I remember correctly. And I think it's just the mindset shift, the way things were approached strategically. Was lacking a little bit in my aspect, which for me was amazing because that gave me an opportunity to lead the way, right?
Did you manage to change something? Because I felt once I came here, it's very difficult to convince some people to change.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I hope I did, and I hope in a positive way. But if I, go back in time and see some of the projects that I was involved in, even to this day, they're still up and running. So I guess some sort of change was present.
Yeah. We can see the consequences.
I hope so. I hope it was positive change. But I think there was a mark left somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice. So then you decided to move to the biggest industry here in Dubai, to development. Why did you choose this? Was it, just a good opportunity for you? Maybe salary opportunity, maybe something like you see the interest in this, maybe more instruments you can use providing this, promoting this?
I think it's a combination. I saw a very interesting opportunity. I moved into when real estate was booming. Obviously, we had what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
But recovered quite quickly from a real estate perspective. I saw an opportunity to use the foundational elements that I've developed over the years in a different industry. I had quite a bit of interest in real estate, and it was booming at the time. So I think it was a combination of all these things.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you have an idea to start your real estate agency? Because everyone who moves here in Dubai has its idea and need to overcome this.
I didn't have that idea at the time.
Oh yeah, that's very nice.
I didn't have that idea at the time. I'm sure we'll probably
this shadow come across you.
I didn't have that idea at the time. I needed. First of all, I couldn't, number one, because I didn't know enough about it. I didn't know enough about the industry, how it works. I didn't know enough about the off-plan industry. Joining Select Group gave me that opportunity. I learned, over the years a lot from the leaders on how the industry works.
You jumped to a higher level at once,
not necessarily jumped to a higher level at once, but it was a learning piece. Like I said, I probably sound like a broken record, but that foundational element is what helped me.
Yeah,
and I was able to implement new processes, new projects, that benefit efficiency just from having those foundational elements.
Yeah. That's nice. That's very important to have a like a basic level, and then you can build a very strong building. Very strong building.
Like you see all these guys on YouTube, the ones who have digital agencies, always talking about the shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
And I think this, it probably it doesn't sound, I don't know if I can say this, but a little bit like crap, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
The concept of it is, understanding those, focus on what's important as opposed to what's trending, because it's not necessarily important. I think that's, it's a message. It sounds like a broken record, but it's a message to get across.
Yeah. If you try to copy that is already trending, you already lose. You need to invent. You need to start with the basics.
You do, but you also need to understand when not to reinvent the wheel, because some things are proven to work very well, and some people just take those for granted and leave those to the side. So sometimes, yes, you need to invent, but at the same time, you don't always need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, that's okay. So you started as a CMO already, or or you started with some?
Well, I'm currently head of marketing, so whatever that. Titles these days are not really important, to be honest, but I moved into the head of marketing role. Prior to that, I was, I had held director of marketing role at a hospitality level, both for single property, multi-property, and I had a commercial director role at my latest or the last hotel that I worked at. So moved straight into the head of marketing role. But yeah, a Select Group.
Okay, yeah. So, and let's share with some young people how it really looks like being a head of marketing. Is it a big department? Because I've heard a lot of thoughts from young guys that head of marketing is running 60 people under him, or that's just a small team but very effective.
It depends. So for example, in our particular case, our team at the moment is quite lean. We've implemented processes in place to boost efficiency, but considering what we're sort of working on at the moment, it's quite sufficient. The team that we have currently...
How much people?
4 people.
4 people, yeah. That's
they're
really nice.
They're very highly talented people, very knowledgeable, which makes life very easy. I have seen organizations that have 60, 50 people. Unfortunately, I would say 60% of them are quite junior. Where in my team, they're very knowledgeable. They're technically very savvy in what they do. We make it happen. And in our case, in my case, for example, as a head of marketing, I'm very hands-on. Sometimes these young guys think a CMO or a head of marketing is, sitting at the desk delegating everything, but it's good being hands-on. I'm quite hands-on, so
that's very important to when you can dive deep into details and give a good.
Extremely important. So one of the things I've learned building into leadership roles is that the hands-on I thought was a curse, but it's actually not. It has to be halfway. There has to be a certain point, but being hands-on allows you not only to lead, but also educate and teach the team. You're staying up to date with what's going on, so you're not left behind. Doesn't mean you need to be a professional at everything. 100% nobody's a professional at everything, but understanding how it all works and what impact it has on a business is hugely important for a leader.
You should understand it to the level you can check.
For example.
If you can't check, you can be involved into some wrong managing decisions that will lead to big problems.
Possibly, but it's something that, at least with myself, I've maybe just curiosity. I think it's more curiosity, just understanding what's trending, what's new, and how does it work, and what impact it's going to have, and what tools are available. Sorry?
Do not lose the pulse.
You don't have to be a professional. Again, you don't have to be a master at it, but understand what's available and how it all works. And I think that's really, really important from a leadership perspective.
Okay. So can you highlight some, main directions you manage in your marketing? Like you have 4 peoples, do they divide between, outdoor advertising or branding or something like, how you manage it?
Look, a lot of it depends on the project. So I have two people who are very focused on content development and design.
So they manage all social media?
they don't manage. We have somebody else to manage. They're briefed on on the strategy of social media, and they support with the content development. Then I have another person who her role is quite broad. But her key focus, I guess, is the digital aspect. Everything from email marketing, data collection, social posting. Social content and so forth. Then you have me. I sort of dip in the comms part as well, the digital part, looking at tools, content development. I sort of dip in all.
And you're a bond between top management and the team, so I guess that's the main role of like.
So I dip my hands in. I guess
to be
all
entrepreneur,
of it.
and not entrepreneur. I mean, like to translate the tasks from top management to actual team.
Interesting enough, I think over the years I've seen top management understand it a bit more. I think if you go back to when I came to the UAE, there was a translation phase.
Yeah.
But I think this day and age, they try to understand, and then they've heard certain acronyms and certain things that we use as marketeers, so they sort of understand what that may mean. So I think that translation period is still there, but less than what it used to be.
Okay. Let's pass through some instruments you actually use. Like, do you use outdoor now? Do you use radio? Do you use digital? Within digital, like, do you focus on some?
So outdoor and so forth, not so much. Our primary focus is on digital, and that's where we have high distribution. In terms of instruments, I'm not sure. You mean tools, I guess, or
like Google, Instagram? Maybe you can
look. We cover all those.
Yeah.
We cover both from an organic perspective and also paid performance. I think everyone covers that. We don't go into the TikToks and so forth as of yet. We feel that.
Actually, we maybe can convince you because we have nice results on TikTok.
It'll be interesting to see because we sell quite premium products, and we find that our target audience does not use certain channels. They use more channels than others.
Yeah.
I'm very big on email marketing, which is quite old school.
But it works here. Totally agree.
It works if you know what you're doing. Yeah. If you understand it. Again.
Maybe some more words about this. So you use some different sales funnels, chains of letters. So you dive deep into.
Going back to the beginning, data collection is one thing. So with my team, we look at all the touch points where we can generate data collection because without data, you have nothing, right?
Yeah.
It is very valuable. So we look at data collection. We look at frequency of communication, type of communication. We look at everything from delivery rates, number one. Then we look at open rates, number two. Then we look at CTRs after that. So, here is where I talk about the foundation. If I go to a uni student, many don't know what I'm talking about.
I know.
So learn these foundations, guys. It's so important.
Yeah. That's very important. So, do you aggressive using these emails? How aggressive you are, or you're trying to just connect? To establish and like relationships between you and audience?
We have a mix of both, depending on audience. So we have our audience segmented. We have a bit of mix of both. We have one quite commercial communication. The other is a mix between the two. Look, at the end of the day, we're marketeers, but at the end of the day, business needs to make money, so we need to sell.
Yeah,
okay?
of course.
That's
okay.
That's the way it is.
We shouldn't forget about this.
We cannot forget about this. We need to look beautiful and so forth, but we need to generate revenue because it is a business at the end of the day. So we do have that commercial element. Then we do have the building relationships / commercial element of our email marketing.
Yeah. So then can you just share maybe your opinion, or maybe you have data about how sales divide between end users, like final buyers, and brokerage market in UAE?
Look, the brokerage market in UAE is so aggressive. I heard the other day, I don't know the exact numbers, but something like 50,000 brokers in the market or something like that.
I've heard like 100,000.
Something like that. So it's crazy. It's crazy, right? And you're competing, it's their bread and butter. So you're competing with these big guys who spend millions a month to generate leads because that's how they make monies from their closing deals and making their commissions. So a majority of the deals do come from brokerage, because not only are you competing on ad spend, but you're competing on distribution, because they have 50 or 100,000 people going out after buyers. But yeah, I would say majority, 94%, I would say.
94.
93 maybe.
My opinion was like 85, but 94. Yeah.
Depends.
I agree.
I think,
I could agree with this.
And also depends on the strategy. I know there are developers who don't do direct deals. They just use the brokerage, and that's good for them. And there are other developers who really push and focus and have dedicated teams to close direct deals. So
do you think that this strategy makes developer fragile? Like they all depend on like brokerage.
That's a tough question to answer. I'm not sure. Yes, they are putting their eggs all in one basket, but it is quite a large basket and there's a lot of eggs. I don't think brokerage is going away, so I don't see that being fragile. I think that the direct deals is a calculated risk. But it's a rewarding one, because it's not only generating more revenue and saving on commission, but it's also brand positioning and
you can save a lot of reputation when you have a direct sales.
And it's not only it's for sure.
So, like your opinion in the future of this market, do you believe that direct sales would increase and the developers would develop this direction, like of direct sales?
I think it's going to be different for every developer. Like I told you.
So it depends on the strategy.
Their strategy. I know developers that focus their marketing efforts purely on brand positioning. Other
but
developers
they have no sales.
No, they just focus on brokerage, right?
Yeah.
I won't mention any names, but there are others who have dedicated teams to direct and probably spend 2, 3, 4 million dirhams a month on performance marketing. So it depends on their strategy.
Do you do something for like supporting connections with brokerage? Maybe you from your marketing perspective, you use some instruments to connect, to attract new brokers, or you're not focused on that?
We don't have particular instruments, but we do. It's more clear on how people can contact us now if they want to work with us, which I remember in the past was through basic channels. Now it's become much easier. And we did see quite a lot of big influx come through that for people who want to work with us.
So you improve like B2B customer support, For
sure.
Yeah, I totally agree, because now in this market, like if someone asks me what's the main problem in the market in the UAE's market, it's not about marketing, it's not about lead generation, it's about like how business can manage customer support, how business can manage leads processing. Like if you leave,
now you touched on a big one.
If you leave a request and you have a call back within a day, wow, that's a very big success. So can you tell something about this? Do you face such problems maybe? Do you try to, manage them, to fix them?
So, what we did, I dipped a lot in the last, when I had my business, a lot in automation. So we developed automation systems in place to support this, to try and make this process much more efficient. At Select Group, I think we're very focused on that. I know that the commercial team is very focused on that time aspect of it. And it was our responsibility as marketing to work with them to develop some sort of efficiency system through marketing automation that can help from a follow-up perspective if they're unable to contact that lead. So
using some CRM systems?
Correct.
Yeah.
Using a CRM system that's done automatically, which for them it's very easy. It's just a click of a button.
Can you recommend someone for like our young people? Salesforce. I know that a lot of people, a lot of companies in this market use Salesforce, but they tell that it's quite a bit difficult to adjust it to your needs.
From a marketing perspective, we don't use Salesforce.
Okay.
For a sales and inventory management perspective, we do use Salesforce.
Okay. Speaking about launches, yes. So we all know that launch is quite an event in UAE's real estate market, and everyone tries to focus on it. Can you share your experience when you launch a new project? What should you do? What should you focus on? Is it a good idea to try to sold out the project within a week or two?
I think from a business perspective, it's an amazing idea to sell out the project from a week or two. But I think even the last 3 years, I've seen launches go from something quite small and intimate with specific partners to these big PR events. So launches have become a bit more than just launching a project. They've become sort of a
celebrity events,
a PR stunt, I think. And there's a lot of competition between certain people where they do the launch, who they invite, who's present, and so forth. Which is, it is what it is. But yeah, a lot of focus does go on the launch. I don't want to give away any secrets or any ideas that we may have on how to overcome this to be relevant moving forward. But a lot of focus does go on the launch. I think it's quite important. At the end of the day, they're not brokers, they're our partners. So they also have a good time at the launch. It's an opportunity to network, to build a relationship, and then again, launch a new project. If we can sell something out in a week at the price point that we launched it for, I think everybody's happy.
But everything is like circles around event, PR event, and can you share, maybe not about Select Group, maybe you've heard some, I don't know, cases,
I don't think,
different.
From what you see, it focuses around the event, but behind the scenes, I think there's a lot going on because the event is what you see coming up on socials or maybe in any type of media. But in the back end, you have the team, distributing all the inventory to the relevant brokers, preparing all the collaterals for their performance marketing, emailing their database. So there's a lot going on in the background. So a lot of us just tend to see that event.
To make PR event successful, you need to understand what's going on in the background. That's a good thought from your side, because I've saw a lot of cases. Let's make an event. Let's invite some brokers, and everything would be sold out. But no,
it doesn't really work like that. No, it doesn't really work like that. I think if you've seen the successful ones and how they've done it, it doesn't really work like that. I think they've done their homework in the back end. They have a team in the back end developing all the collaterals ready to go to market as soon as it's launched. It's not just about hiring a space and inviting a celebrity and off you go.
Okay, so you spoke about using automation in different instruments like email or maybe in some content strategies. I have a very hype question. Do you use AI in your?
God.
And sorry, and maybe I don't know, just your opinion about this instrument. Does it actually works or it's not? It's still not.
My opinion is my opinion at the end of the day, but I feel that AI at the moment is a supportive tool. We do use it from a supportive perspective because it's far from perfect. We use it for certain aspects, for content development, some automation, some chat widgets and so forth. But it's still not at a stage where
it can replace a human being.
No, definitely not. Definitely cannot replace a human being. We're looking now at content development with voiceovers and video and so forth. It's just not there yet. It's just not there. And I think it's quite interesting where it's going. And I think in a few years' time, when they can develop it, it could be quite interesting. But still using it very much as a supportive element as opposed to a primary.
I guess the main idea is you should hire people that can be better than just AI now.
But
that's an idea.
I don't think we understand enough about AI. So we know that Google are using AI and Meta's using AI to help their their targeting and ads and so forth. But what do we really know that's behind this? Do we really know what's going on? I mean, for example, we know LinkedIn and others had audience expansion opportunities and so forth. But does it really work? It's in whose benefit? I mean, we know that these guys they're there to make money.
Yeah.
They're there to make sure your ad spend, gets deducted so they can make money. So I think there needs to be a little bit more transparency in the AI piece.
Agree. Elon Musk help us all.
Whoever's going to help us, but
but
I think there needs to be a certain point where we as a user and a consumer need to understand, because the AI is exactly what it is. It's a learning machine. So what's been inputted. So
for a lot of years, we all know that, Meta algorithms, they use AI and they try to, choose an audience for you to show your ads to some focused audience, but you don't know how they actually do this. And
you don't know how they do it, and does it really generate the results you're looking for? And
or they just burn your money. We don't know.
At the end of the day, they're a business, right? So we just need to play with the tools that we have.
That's a very interesting question for our future. Okay. So, Kevin, I think that was a very interesting conversation. Really, I think that we could provide some interesting thoughts to younger people to understand how they can start their career, what should they be focused on, and that was really nice.
Just don't worry too much about titles. Learn, understand the craft, understand the foundations. It will come.
Yeah.
Just be patient, it will come.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that was a podcast with Kevin. So if you have some interesting questions for him, you can drop them into the comments and we'll answer them in our Instagram page next few weeks. Thank you very much.